Beyond technical. Competitive gaming.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another episode of Beyond Technical. This week we're going to be covering, well, first I got a little bit of fluff that we have to kind of talk about, so we're going to get that out of the way. And then after that, we're going to go into a very, very awesome newbie tutorial that I've been wanting to do for a while. I would have just like smothered a baby to get this kind of information when I was a new player. What do I do about fireballs and how do we get around those? Because those defensive turtle-like type characters that can just throw fireballs at you, especially if you're playing a character that can't just answer with their own fireball, it's really confusing. So a lot of characters have different approaches to that. We're going to get into it. We're going to go just scratch the surface. We're not going to go crazy in depth, but we're going to give you some good tools so you can get around that and hopefully up your game a little bit. But before we get into that, really exciting news. This weekend, right now, the reason this video is coming out a little bit later than I had intended is because EVO is on, and I was a little bit busy watching a ton of amazing Street Fighter matches. Some Smash Bros. And CrossCounter and all that stuff too. Let's just, wow, okay, the games are phenomenal. If you're catching this, I'm going to try and have it up before the finals of EVO go out on Sunday. So check out EVO if you're not watching it yet, or if you don't know. I think it's around 8 o'clock Eastern time on Sunday. It's going to be the Street Fighter finals. And along with that is coming a pretty big announcement, which I've had a lot of people asking me for my opinion on. So I thought I'd just kind of cover that here right now at the beginning of a tutorial video. Sorry, it's going to be a little bit rambly. So the big announcement is that Street Fighter is going to be getting a big update in 2014. We knew it was coming for a while, but what we didn't know is that they're going to be adding 5 new characters. Now, they haven't actually announced the 5th character yet, but we have Poison, we have Hugo, we have Elena, and Rolento. So basically the Street Fighter Cross Tekken cast is getting ported over to Street Fighter 4, and one character they've said has not been in a Street Fighter game yet, so we're going to have to wait and find out what that is. I hope they announce that tomorrow when they have this big video, which they're going to play before the finals. So check that out, definitely some big news. The other thing they came out with is just a little bit of a hey, this is what we're going to be changing, or what they're going to focus on changing about characters. Now, I don't want to cover every character because that's a lot of time, and frankly, you probably don't want to sit here and listen to me go character by character through the entire list, but I will cover my favorite Balrog because, again, that's the one I keep getting asked about, and people want my opinion. So in terms of Balrog, he's got a couple quick changes coming. His turnaround punch charges faster, which I'm not sure if that means that his level 1 is going to be charged faster, which would, I guess, allow you to turn around punch faster on reaction. I think that could be kind of handy, but it's not overly important because generally you're thinking way ahead of time of turnaround punches anyways, and the charge time's not that long already. The other thing is that you charge to higher levels faster, which will be cool because the higher level, if you're not aware, Balrog's turnaround punch can charge to something like level 20 and it hits for like 400 damage, or I don't know, some crazy number like that. I don't even know it because it takes you like 60 seconds to charge that and you're never going to do it. So maybe that goes faster and you level up through the charge levels quicker, and it'll let you do a little more damage with turnaround punch. I don't really know how that's going to go yet. Honestly, I'm not all that excited. I don't really think that's a necessary change to Balrog, at least in my opinion. The other one is that his headbutt is going to recover faster. Now, at first I started going, well, that's going to be really useless too, because it's only going to matter against bad players who don't punish your headbutt in time. Good players are still going to pick it up because clearly it's still going to be like a shuriken type move. It's still going to get punished. However, if his headbutt can now be used as an escape when someone's trying to like cross you up and you can jump to safety, you used to be able to use it for that, and then they kind of nerfed the recovery time on it. So maybe they're bringing that escape option back, which actually I think that's a nice little buff to Balrog. I think that's something he could really use. Turnaround punch, headbutt. Oh yeah, and his Ultra 2 is having its range extended. Now let me tell you why that's useless and the Ultra 2 is never going to work. Listen up, Capcom. Balrog's Ultra 1 does 3 things, and 3 things very well. 1, it does lots of damage. His Ultra 2 has never matched it in damage. Now they buffed the damage recently on it with AE, but they still haven't gotten it up to exactly what the Ultra 1 can deal. So the Ultra 2 is not holding up in terms of damage. It has a lot of stun, but nobody cares about stun. 2, it goes through fireballs. You can use Ultra 1 to shut down everybody's fireball or medium range fireball game. If you fireball, I can Ultra 1 you. So that's a really bad thing to do, especially if I'm waking up. You don't want to throw fireballs in my face. It makes it really easy to react to. Number 3, it carries them to the corner. Balrog's Ultra pushes from anywhere in the screen all the way to a corner. That is where Balrog is strongest, his corner game. His Super and his Ultra both do this. You don't want to try to save up a Super because you don't get one of those every round. So you want your Ultra to have this capability. His Ultra 2 is a command grab. It grabs them, it headbutts them, they fall to the ground, that's it. And then you get a amazing Balrog mix-up, which he doesn't have a vortex or anything crazy you're going to get off a knockdown like that. So his Ultra 2 is never going to measure up to his Ultra 1. It has more range, that's great, but Balrog doesn't need a command grab. He needs good answers to fireballs. He needs good answers to get himself in there, and he needs a good way to keep the characters pressured into something like the corner. So his Ultra 1 is perfect for him. His Ultra 2 is crap. That's what I think about the latest patch. Tons of extra stuff coming out, so check it out. And don't forget to watch the EVO finals coming up really soon. So that being said, let's whoosh on to the tutorial, because I've already been rambling for like 5 whole minutes, and I'm sure no one really wants to listen to me forever, do you? So, boop boop, this is a button that brings up Street Fighter. Alright, so, let's talk about... Ooh, I hit the microphone. Hope you guys like that bang noise. Alright, so we're not going to do any online matches right now. I'm playing a little bit online again, going up and down some player points. I tried out my own personal Ryu tutorial for anybody who's really curious, and actually I held up pretty well around the 3k player point range. So, and that was, I tried to keep it as basic as I could. So that was just to put some personal experience in there, and I was pretty happy with how it worked out. So let's talk about fireballs, because I can probably ramble all day about them, and they're actually quite simple. First things first, I started trying to make a list for you guys. Let's just pull this back up here. Alright, so here's my list, alright, this top part here. This is all the ways to deal fireballs, alright? We have FADC, we have a jump, we have your character specific deal or moves, and we have punch them, alright? Those are your 4 options. You can read that, there you go. That is how I came up with for dealing with fireballs. So, what we're going to start with is just the first that four lists. All right, now it sounds like a pretty simple list, but it can be really confusing. So first, let's get some fireballs on the screen. What do you say? So we're just do a quick recording with Guile. Now I'm going to just do a backup because, oops, 2 seconds ish, because I want him to block high for these jumps that we're going to be doing. All right, let's throw a little medium one in there, back to heavy. There we go. Got a full recording of fireballs. So. Now we're going to play it back. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about FADC. You can use your focus attack to push through fireballs. Now, this is where EX fireballs come into play. EX fireballs always have 2 hits associated with them, okay? So if you focus attack, EX fireballs is a great way to break people from using focus attacks to pressure through your fireballs. But Guile's not going to be doing that right now, so this is a good answer to regular fireballs, okay? So, watch this as we go forward here. All right. See, we're still going at him. Bam, bam, now we're in, all right? See, and once you've worked your way in, that's the key. You want to get up there and in somebody's face. So you can use these EXs to kind of like trick somebody out and, you know, dash forward, sweep, dash forward, jab, jab, jab. And then once you're in at this range, it's way too risky to be throwing fireballs when I can, you know, actually do one of the other things on the list, which is punch them. Okay, so hitting a character breaks their fireballs. So generally, people are having trouble with defensive type characters, and they're throwing fireballs and keeping them out. So focus attack dash cancel is a really good way to pressure your way in there and get close in on character fireballs. Now be careful though, because they should have time to recover and hit you if you do this spacing is very specific. So depending on the character, if you do this from too far away, Guile could, for example, do a spinning back fist, hook you on top of his fireball. So focus attacks are risky for getting too close, but if you do it quickly and you're not using it too constantly, most people will fall for it. If they see it coming, they're just gonna throw an EX, so be careful about that, all right? Next thing on the list, this is the most important one. You're gonna jump, okay? So jumping is pretty much your best way around fireballs. Bam, look at that, we just jumped over it and we hit him in the face. Okay, now the problem with doing this to get over fireballs is that you have to basically know he's gonna fireball, right? Right there, there. But look what happens if we react to the fireball. I'm just gonna block this one, then we're gonna jump over it. So watch what happens when we react, okay? When we react, especially characters like Guile, I chose Guile for a reason. His recovery is amazing on his fireballs. He's able to block very quickly after he shoots fireball, okay? So we're gonna, oh, there's one, jump, bam, bam, look at that. If I jump preemptively, I can hit him. If I see it coming, sonic boom, jump. So this is why people get frustrated, because you can't just jump over reactively, because if you jump reactively, he can block already. So you have to know it's coming. You have to jump preemptively to use jumping as a punishment for fireballs. And then you can combo from there. If you land a jump in, that's probably usually your best combo string possible for your character. So you can do a lot of damage. Okay, so the other thing to keep in mind with fireballs is, let's see how much damage Guile's gonna hit me for here. Look at that little tiny chip, all right? We're gonna pause so you can kind of see it through the background, but look at that itty bitty little piece of my health bar, okay? Now the other thing I really want you to keep in mind with this jumping is that yes, it's risky and dangerous, but if you jump preemptively and they don't stuff you and you manage to catch him, let's see what this does. Bam. Okay, look how much health Guile just lost. You see how many fireballs I can eat to make up for that? And that's just a nice little dinky nothing combo. I didn't do anything special or fancy, just a straight bread and butter, low damage combo off of a jump in. So the reason these jumps can work is because it's worth it. The risk is worth the reward. Guile has to risk a lot to keep throwing fireballs. You get a big reward if you manage to work your way around them, okay? That's how this game balances it out. So next thing we're gonna cover, so there's FADC, there's jumping. Next thing we're gonna cover is character specific. Then we're gonna cover punching them, and then I'm gonna talk about how you actually wanna play in a real match, okay? So, character specific on Balrog is this turnaround punch. If I can actually have time to charge up here. Bam! Bam! Look at that, I'm in. So, a lot of characters, especially if they're not fireball characters, generally fireball characters, their specific anti-fireball move is to throw their own fireball. They can use it as basically a fireball shield. Okay, so if you have fireballs, you're not worrying about this too much. It's the characters like Balrog that don't have fireballs. How do you work your way in on a character that wants to punch somebody that can throw things at them? Okay, it's difficult. So you use things like turnaround punch. Now turnaround punch is risky and dangerous because you have to use it at a distance and you have to catch them on their second fireball or you're not going to get a hit. Usually people just block after you turn around punch, or they could do something like be buffering a flash kick and they throw a sonic boom and then, you know, maybe they get the flash kick in time. Or like Ryu's a perfect example, actually, sorry, because flash kick is tough to buffer after a sonic boom and actually catch a turnaround punch. But Ryu can Shoryuken right after of a Hadouken. So if you turn around punch a Hadouken, he's going to throw a dragon punch and he's going to catch you with that. And then you're going to eat it for trying to do a turnaround punch on the Ryu. So that's why you want to use your turnaround punches closer if you can. But a lot of characters have these kind of anti-fireball moves. So if you look up moves on websites like Shoryuken or Event Hubs or something like that, they'll have a list of things that are immune to fireballs and like when they have projectile invincibility. Most ultras have things like that, and you can punish it with that. All right. So if you have a move with some projectile invincibility, use that to kind of circumvent the fireballs. But again, use it sparingly because most of them have a downside or a way to get punished. Now, the other thing you can do, which we'll cover because this is kind of character specific, but a lot of characters have this. A lot of ultras are fireball immune. Okay. Oh, that's not right. Now look at this, all right? So Guile throws a fireball, but I go right through his fireball and punish him with a full ultra, which is 491 damage. So that's how much damage Guile just took for throwing a close sonic boom. Now the downside is that if I try and do this from full screen away on a lot of characters, there you go, look at this, I can go through the sonic boom, but Guile's still able to block the full ultra, and then I'm gonna get a full punish for that, okay? So ultras are a good way to get around fireballs, but you have to use them your reaction time has to be very, very spot on. You have to do it very, very quickly, okay? Now the other one is, and this is a rare case because usually what we're trying to cover here is turtling characters with fireballs, but if he's gonna throw sonic booms right in my face, look at this, he can't throw sonic booms anymore. He's just getting counter hit every time he tries to do it. So you can just hit them out. So if anybody's trying to fireball you and you're that close, damn, it's time to use some frame traps and set them up because they'll open up their defense with a sonic boom. It's not worth it at all. You can go full combo on them for that, okay? So you can just hit them out if they're trying to shoot them close. Almost nobody shoots fireballs when they're really close to you. They tend to try and use a little bit of range. So your jump-ins are a great way to punish them. Guile has one of the fastest recovering fireballs in the game. So a lot of characters, if you fireball, or if they fireball and you can jump it, you're going to do a lot of damage because you're going to catch them open a lot of the time. Some of them you can even react to their fireballs, jump over, and still have time to hit them. It takes so long to recover, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play as if this Guile is actually really good and he's somewhere in the middle of the screen. Unfortunately, I've just got me here, so I'm going to try and, you know, set up as best I can. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to frustrate fireball characters, okay? Because the biggest thing I try to do is when you work your way in, you want to work your way in slowly so they don't just bait you into, you know, jumping over the fireball and getting hit with a Shoryuken. So what you do is generally you want to work in very, very slowly. So, okay, here we are. There, and look at this. Like, we're going to be focus attacking it. You're going to be jumping over a couple. Maybe jump forward, and then, oh, maybe this is in a bad position, back up a little bit. So you're going to kind of do this little fireball dance, okay? And you just slowly work your way forward until you're in position. And then once you're close enough, now it's too dangerous for him to be throwing fireballs again, okay? So you're going to use a lot of these tools put together. You're going to FADC through fireballs, you're going to jump through fireballs, maybe you're going to mix in a turnaround punch here and there, but you're going to keep wanting to rotate through this set of tools so that you're not too predictable and they can't just fireball you every time. Okay, so that is how you work your way in on fireball characters. It's a lot of patience. You have to be very, very careful when you're moving forward on them, and you're probably going to eat a couple fireballs. That's the point of the game. Fireballs are supposed to hit you. They do very, very low damage, under 100 damage. One heavy punch is going to hit harder than a fireball, okay? So don't be afraid to get hit by a fireball or two here and there. Just don't eat a ton of them. Don't be too hasty to move in. It's those Shoryuken, anti-jump-in Shoryukens and stuff that are going to do way more damage than the fireballs. So just don't get yourself caught into these traps that fireball characters want to set up for you. Work your way in slowly, use your focus attacks, use your jumping, and just kind of ease your way in there. And then once you're close, they can't fireball you anymore. If you've got your own fireballs, you can just bait them out and wait it out your own, and you can mix in an EX here and there to kind of like out-juke them with your own little fireball game. If you want to watch some great matches, I suggested this in the Ryu tutorial video, but you can go back to it as well. Ryu versus Ryu, Daigo versus Alex Valle is probably one of the best matches I've seen. They throw a ton of fireballs at each other, so you can see how patient these players really are when it comes to this, and how they handle this kind of a setup. All right, so there you go. That is my how to deal with a fireball tutorial. It's a little long and drawn out and a lot of words, I know, but I know how frustrating it can be when you're just trying to get in, and especially when you're playing characters like Balrog or Honda or someone who doesn't have a great answer to fireballs. Now, I'll cover one tiny little thing before we say goodbye here, because it should be noted as well. A lot of characters have no problems with fireballs at all. All right, we're just going to jump back on a Street Fighter here. The reason that a lot of characters don't have any problems with fireballs, and they really aren't that relevant in a tutorial like this, is something like Blanca. You see when Blanca does his river slide, he can go right underneath fireballs. You can react to fireballs, and you can go straight underneath, and you can hit basically anybody who's trying to hit you. So we've got some characters that are set up like that, and they just have an amazing answer to fireballs already, but there's a lot of characters, especially characters like Balrog, that don't have a good answer. There is no solid response to a fireball. So those are your tools. Know them, and for players, or for those of you who play fireball characters, know that I can ultra you through a fireball, and I can hit you for 500 off of one little 80 damage potential fireball. So be very careful when you're throwing those. Just spam fireballs might work when you're low rated. As you start rising up, players like me are going to crush you for it. So be careful, all right? Hope that helped at least somebody. I do want to say give a special shout out and thank you to everybody who's been messaging me and giving me thumbs up on the videos and telling me how much they helped you guys. I might not be able to answer all of you all the time. I do full time a lot of other things on top of doing these videos. So, but just I want to let you know that I do read everything that comes in, and I do really appreciate hearing it. So thank you very much, you guys. Like having some fans is what makes doing the show worth it and fun. I'm not exactly rolling in cash from it or anything. It's just them doing it for you guys. So let me know if there's anything else I can do for you guys. I love hearing the feedback. Keep it coming at me, and I can't wait to just keep pumping these out for you guys. So catch you next time. Enjoy Beyond Technical. Oh, and subscribe on YouTube, follow on Facebook and all that stuff with the spinny logos, and Twitter. And I'm Matt Skier on Twitter, as long as Real BT Gaming. And if you're checking this out on Beyond Technical, also check out CrossCounter.tv. Those guys are awesome and post a lot of really cool content, including Beyond Technical stuff. So if you're on the CrossCounter.tv page, you should head on over to the Beyond Technical YouTube page and check out all the tutorial videos and content that's coming out, because it's going to keep flying your way. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much for watching.